Tonight, 4 persons died following a collision with a bus and a motor vehicle that was operating as a taxi along the Trial Main Road in Lucy, Hanover earlier today. Jamaica recorded 306 new cases of COVID-19 and 3 additional deaths yesterday, taking the total of confirmed cases now to 39,543 and fatalities from the virus to 599. Still tonight, the government's second coronavirus COVID-19 vaccination blitz is to be held this Saturday, April 3, at the National Arena in St. Andrew.
We're putting in place measures to increase the number of persons over 75, and we're introducing, Madam Speaker, us and colleagues, a second variable, if you will, to these blitz sites, which we hope to standardize across.
And Prime Minister Andrew Holness has lashed out against the violence-laced music being produced in Jamaica, while noting the art form's contribution to the high levels of violence in the country.
When will we reach the point as a society where we come to the understanding that in our art form, in our music and in our culture, in as much as you are free to reflect what is happening in the society, you also have a duty to place it in context.
Good evening. Jamaica recorded 306 new cases of COVID-19 and 3 additional deaths yesterday, taking the total of confirmed cases now to 39,543 and the confirmed death toll now to 599. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the latest deaths are 3 women, 2 from St. James, aged 76 and 33, and the third, a 30-year-old from Portland. The 33-year-old woman's death was previously reported as under investigation. Meanwhile, the ministry also reported 5 additional deaths under investigation and another death as coincidental. Of the 306 new cases, there were 154 females and 146 males, ranging in age from 4 months to 98 years. The genders of 6 of the new cases have been reported as under investigation. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew with 129 cases, St. Catherine recorded 88 cases, St. James 22, Westmoreland recorded 19 cases, Clarendon recorded 16, St. Anne 8, St. Thomas 7, Hanover and St. Elizabeth recorded 4 cases each, while Manchester, St. Mary and Trelawney all recorded 3 cases. The island also recorded 127 recoveries, taking the total of recovered persons now to 17,725. In the meantime, Chief Epidemiologist Dr. Karen Webster Carr says although Jamaica's key COVID-19 indicators are showing improvement, they're still at a concerning level. The nation's positivity rate and the number of hospitalizations are 2 of the key indicators used by the chief epidemiologist to measure the severity of the pandemic on the island. While speaking today at a joint select committee session on COVID-19 and other matters, Dr. Webster Carr noted that there's been a general decrease in the positivity rate. She says the number of cases has also plateaued. Meanwhile, Dr. Webster Carr disclosed that the COVID-19 measures in recent weeks seem to have resulted in an improvement in Jamaica's key COVID-19 indicators. In other news tonight, the government's second coronavirus COVID-19 vaccination blitz is scheduled for this Saturday, April 3, at the National Arena in St. Andrew. Now, the blitz is the mass vaccination plan being implemented by the Ministry of Health and Wellness to vaccinate 1,000 persons in one day at a single location. Persons now being targeted for vaccination island-wide are those aged 75 years and over, with a reserve list to include members of the Jamaica Fire Brigade and persons over 60 years. Portfolio Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, who made the announcement in the House of Representatives on Tuesday, said the ministry will be leveraging the political organizations to identify persons who are to be inoculated.
Our second vaccination blitz on Saturday, April 3rd, 2021 at the National Arena, and we're putting in place measures to increase the number of persons over 75. And we're introducing, Madam Speaker, us and colleagues, a second variable, if you will, to these blitz sites, which we hope to standardize across the country. And that is to leverage the political organizations in the respective geographic political constituencies or spaces to identify persons who meet a particular age cohort and to assist the process working with the electoral office to bring those persons out to the location.
He explained that for this Saturday's blitz, 5 members of Parliament in Kingston and St. Andrew will be assisting in this new approach.
Madam Speaker, in terms of this Saturday, we have identified 5 members of Parliament in Kingston and St. Andrew, and those members of Parliament, we had a meeting with them last evening, and they are going to be playing an important role working with their elected reps at the municipal authority level, and we are given targets to bring out a certain number of persons 75 years and over, and are given some mobilization support to assist in that process.
He noted that the option to call the National Vaccination Hotline at 888-1-LOVE, that's 888-663-5683, or to register online through the Ministry of Health and Wellness's website at www.moh.gov.jm will always be available, but additional support is now being embedded in that process. Dr. Tufton informed that the intention of the Health and Wellness Ministry is to host 25 vaccination blitzes over the next 3 months. Meanwhile, Jamaica should be in a position to continue its COVID-19 vaccination drive into April with approximately 121,000 doses expected to arrive on the island in the coming weeks. Chairman of the National Health Fund, NHF, Mr. Howard Mitchell, yesterday announced that approximately 75,000 doses of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine from the African Medical Support Platform, AMSP, are expected on the island in the next 5 days. According to Mr. Mitchell, 20,000 doses of Moderna from commercial sources are expected to arrive in Jamaica 2 to 3 weeks later, followed by 26,000 additional doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. He says these supplies are a part of vaccines negotiated by the government of Jamaica last year under the 2 international vaccine purchasing agreements from COVAX under the aegis of the World Health Organization WHO and the AMSP established by the African Union member states. In news from Hanover, it has been confirmed that 4 persons died following a collision with a bus and a motor vehicle that was operating as a taxi along the Trial Main Road in the parish earlier today. A popular taxi operator who operated along that route, Edgar Gilling, and his girlfriend who was in the taxi died on the spot along with 2 other persons. The identities of those persons are unknown at this time. Police personnel and firefighters were on the scene investigating the crash, while a buildup of traffic spanned miles on both sides of the West Coast Highway. We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscasts. Still making Mello TV news tonight. A search is still underway to locate a female teacher who went missing from her community in Clarendon on Tuesday. 44-year-old Natalie Dawkins, teacher of Denby, Crawl, in the parish, has been missing since Tuesday, March 30. She is of dark complexion, medium build, and about 5 feet 7 inches tall. Now, reports from the Four Paths Police coming into our news center tonight are that Natalie was last seen at home on Tuesday at approximately 11:30 a.m. when she was contacted by her neighbor about her car alarm that reportedly kept going off. The following morning, her relatives tried contacting her, but the calls went unanswered. Relatives visited the house and realized that her car and other items were missing. While making checks, they were informed by the Spanish Town Police that Natalie's handbag was found on the Spanish Town leg of Highway 2000. Her attire at the time of her disappearance is unknown. She has not been seen nor heard from since. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Natalie Dawkins is being asked to contact the Four Paths Police at 876-987-0429, 876-987-0489, Police Emergency 119, or the nearest police station. In news from Clarendon, a female vendor was chopped several times by a male vendor following an altercation in Maypen yesterday afternoon. The incident that took place in the vicinity of the Bargain Village sent other vendors and shoppers running for cover after an off-duty police officer in the area had to fire several shots to ward off the man. He was later arrested and taken to the Maypen police station. Now it's understood that the incident was a culmination of a week-long argument between the two who were arguing over space. The woman is still in hospital with chop wounds to her head and upper body. Continuing with the news tonight, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has lashed out against the violence-laced music being produced in Jamaica, noting that this aspect of the art form contributes to the high levels of violence in the country. Mr. Holness says that entertainers often glorify violence in their songs and seek to justify their approach by saying they are reflecting the society's realities.
When will we reach the point as a society where we come to the understanding that in our art form, in our music and in our culture, in as much as you are free to reflect what is happening in the society, you also have a duty to place it in context. That to take up the AK-47 and turn it in a man's head, that is not right.
Now, while condemning all forms of violence, the Prime Minister says entertainers have a duty to children who are listening.
Though you have the protection of the Constitution to sing about it, you also have a duty to the children who are listening to you to say, man, that is not right. And until the society comes to the understanding that all forms of violence is wrong, but we're not there yet, because as I speak today, I'm expecting the headlines tomorrow.
Prime Minister Holness was speaking in Parliament on Tuesday. He says the government takes the matter of violence seriously and is working to develop further strategies and put in place impactful policies to deal decisively with the scourge. The Prime Minister's statement follows the murder of 20-year-old Kenise Jackson, who went missing last Wednesday. Miss Jackson's body was found at the Portmore fishing village in St. Catherine 2 days later. Mr. Holness was among several lawmakers who used Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives to register their disgust about crime and violence, particularly against women and children on the island. Still tonight, Gilbert Smith, a police sergeant, has been found guilty of breaching the Independent Commission of Investigations Act and is to be sentenced on May 16. The sergeant, who was allegedly involved in a case of assault that occurred on September 16, 2016, has failed to provide a statement to the Commission following a request by the body. He was subsequently charged with failing to comply with a lawful requirement of the Commission without lawful justification or excuse. He was also ordered to appear before the Clarendon Parish Court, where he was convicted by presiding judge Justice Dale Staple. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with other stories as Mayor of Savannah Lamar and Chairman of the Westmoreland Municipal Corporation, Councillor Bertel Moore, says the council is awaiting an approved blueprint and funding in order to move forward with the Negril market. And the Airports Authority of Jamaica, AAJ, is working to increase traffic in and out of the Ian Fleming International Airport, IFIA, in Boscobel, St. Mary. But first, it's time for us to go to a break, and then it's over to Christopher Scott with the very latest in sports.